Hey folks, welcome to the Camping Post. In this video, we are replacing our stock Breakaway kit with a product that was sent to us by MICTUNING. What the Breakaway box does is it activates the trailer brakes when it gets separated from the tow vehicle, ensuring that the trailer can stop safely, powered by a battery box stored underneath or on your chassis somewhere. You should check these at least twice a year and preferably before every trip. When we first got our Sold On camper, we weren't even aware. We had been told about the Breakaway cable, but we weren't even aware that we needed to check the battery for that. We found out how difficult it was. We basically have to remove this whole box from the chassis, pull out the battery, and run it to a multimeter or some kind of voltmeter so that we can see if the batteries are good. So we were kind of hoping that the Breakaway kit from MICTUNING would offer us some extra capabilities, which I think it does. So we're going to get into this and we're going to unbox this and show you what we did to install it. Thanks for watching. Hope this is helpful. Right here on top, looks like we have our Breakaway switch with the lead wire for that and the Breakaway cable. Set of instructions on how to wire it to your trailer. And next here we actually have the battery box itself, which will mount the chassis. It does feel like it's pretty hefty, so I'm going to bet that there is most likely a battery that comes with this. We've got our 3 indicator lights. There's a green light, meaning it's charged, red light, meaning you need to charge it, and then there's a yellow light indicating that the unit's charging. And does look like we have a battery with power. Box itself feels pretty hefty and comes with a fair amount of lead wire. So here's the Breakaway apparatus. The silver is your Breakaway cable attached to the switch. When that switch is pulled, it will run power to the battery, which will engage your electric brakes. And be sure to check out the link to the product in the description below, as well as any special promotions. Now that we got a good look at what came in the box, let's get to installing this. Let's first start by removing our existing box. And this is what you would have to do. We're simply just going to change the battery or test your battery. So the Breakaway kit doesn't come with bolts to attach to your chassis, so we're going to make sure we hang on to the 2 that were used on the old box. Now that I've got my 2 bolts out, I'm going to unscrew and look at the wiring inside here. Now you'll notice that in this video we kind of show warts and all throughout this process. We're not trying to make this look like magic, but to kind of show you what we went through to get this done. If these modifications are not something you feel comfortable with, you should always take your camper to an RV specialist or an RV mechanic to do these types of modifications. Looks like our bottom screws are rusted, so it must be from road debris. Let's take that off. Now we're going to prepare the box for installation. We've taken the cover off. There you can see the battery, but what we're going to do is put the 3 wires, the black, the white, and the blue, and to some protective shielding that we purchased at Harbor Freight and run that into the box to keep it from getting tugged or pulled out It's just an extra layer of security for the wiring. So now we're just going to put the box back together, putting in the 4 main screws so that we can get ready to mount this to the chassis of the trailer. And we're just going to finish screwing the cover back on and double check to make sure that we have battery power. Take this cover off, see what's going on with the wiring in here. And so this is the junction box that is on our INTECH sold on Rover. Apparently they're just using an electrical box. And this is going to be the junction box where all our wiring meets from the 7-pin harness, power from the onboard camper battery, and our breakaway switch. Now we're going to work on installing this box. I already have 1 hole and my screw, the bolt from the previous box, and I'm going to mount that temporarily while I wire this in place. And then once we get done, I will use the other self-tapping screw to mount the other corner in place. All right, so now I'm going to cut the old wires off from the old box. White. Reuse them. Blue. And now in this system, the black is the power, the white is the ground, and the blue is for the switch. Back through this box so I can reuse them. And we'll put new grip nuts on them. So we're going to reuse some of the lead from the other box that was installed so that we have some extra wire. And we're feeding in the cables from the new battery box into the junction box. Incoming wires here, and the existing wires over here. So now we're going to shorten the wires, then strip them to prepare them for connection. Got my white incoming. Snip off this. And now we're just going to twist the 2 white leads together, and then we are going to put a crimp connector to hold those wires in place. Alright, that's one. Blue to blue. These out. About the same. Worst part about doing this stuff. Worst part about doing this stuff is being upside down and your phone going off relentlessly. Twist those boys. Clean up the crimp. Those are pushed in there real good. Hold them in place. And push and Same for the black. Crimp.
All right, now that we got all our connections made, I am going to put in the other self-tapping screw and finish mounting the Breakaway battery box to the chassis. Because of my position underneath the vehicle, I didn't see that I got the mounting screw all the way in. We did come back and fix that.
Line. Just gonna use a zip tie. This is not a UV rated outdoor tie, but we'll replace that with one at some point. Especially if this one disintegrates on us.
Now we're just adding the zip tie for extra security on the wiring.
This way. Add some additional support, make sure nothing tugs on that wire.
And we'll also come back and put some caulk in above the junction box where the wiring is going in, because that hole could get water into it, which would not be good for the wiring in that box.
Clean up. And now to clean up and onto some other projects that hopefully are not underneath the camper. Peace. So for me, the most exciting thing about this Breakaway battery kit is that for a trip, all I have to do is simply slide under here real quick and press this button to see if our battery is charged. And as you can see here with the yellow, it is charging. So that means we have battery on board our camper. So this battery is being charged. And if it were not, the red light would be on. So the first one green, we got good power on the battery. Second one red, you would need to recharge your battery. And then third, the yellow light is showing that your battery is receiving power and charging. Okay, so we have installed the Breakaway kit battery box. Since we already have an existing Breakaway cable here on our camper, we're not going to change that out. We'll just keep the Breakaway cable that came with the kit as a backup. Or when we get some extra time to do some maintenance, we will switch out our cable, which is located here underneath the front chassis on the tongue. Things that we learned during this process is to have your screw gun ready and set up for any sockets or screwdriver attachments you need during the installation process. This just makes it easier than having to keep getting out from underneath your RV or your trailer during installation to grab tools since you're working underneath. Another thing, make sure you have your shore power disconnected, which we did. Also disconnect the battery for your camper, your RV trailer, and make sure you're not hooked up to your tow vehicle. There is power that is coming through the lines, as we discovered with ours. As soon as we connected it, we were charging. The good thing about finding that out is that that means that our battery from our existing Breakaway battery was charging if it had power from your camper, your tow vehicle, or shore power. So that's something that we didn't know in the very beginning of this. And now that we got the battery box installed, we can easily check power before we head out on a trip or we leave the campground. Don't forget to check the product links and look for any special discount codes in the description below. Thanks for watching. Happy camping. We'll give this one 2 thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe and turn on post notifications!